and welcome to Conversations with My Real Friends. I'm Jennifer. I'm here with my friend Janice.
Thanks for having me.
So Janice is a business attorney who focuses in part on working with companies as they get started in forming their businesses. So Janice, let's talk about when we're at that stage. We're ready to form a business, right?
Okay.
An entity. So what consideration should someone have as to what type of entity they should create, and what are the things that go into that?
Great question, so thanks for asking. There are a number of things that somebody should consider. The first thing is really to talk with their accountant as well as their lawyer. Figure out how the structure of this business is going to impact the go forward of that business and who's going to be involved.
Yep.
Generally, for smaller businesses, there's two forms of businesses that we go to. We're not going to talk about partnerships or limited partnerships or anything.
Right.
We'll talk about a corporate structure and a limited liability structure.
Right.
From a corporate structure perspective, there's also two paths. Is it going to be a C Corp or an S Corp? Now, those are tax elections.
Right.
I am not an accountant, don't want to be an accountant. We have many accountant friends that folks can speak to about that.
Right.
But for the most part, if you're going the corporate format, there's a lot of formalities that need to be adhered to when you're doing that.
Yep.
You need to, in California, which is where we're sitting right now, you need to file what's called a statement of information on a yearly basis. Through the bylaws of the company, you need to have organizational minutes,
Right.
you need to have yearly minutes, et cetera, and meetings. So there's more formalities that have to take place if you're a corporation. The other option is limited liability company, or an LLC.
Right.
So it's 2 years to file a statement of information, and there are no formalities. Now, there are pros and cons of each. Depends on how many members for a limited liability company or shareholders for a corporation
Right.
that the company is going to have. So these things should all be taken into consideration at the formation time.
Right.
Speak to a lawyer ahead of time. A lawyer will give a list of questions, ask about the long-term path of where the company wants to
Right.
go, et cetera. And then based on that and a discussion with the accountant,
Yep.
decide what the best entity is to form.
Right. Well, and in particular, the tax implications.
Correct.
You can do S election even with an LLC,
Correct?
but you need to decide, are your members or shareholders going to be individuals, because an S requires individuals, right?
That's right.
You know, are we looking at how many members, because there's caps on numbers, right? What's your taxes going to look like, because S income looks very differently from a tax standpoint than C income. There's double potential taxation, right?
Correct.
There's pass-through if you're an LLC, if you choose that path. So if you don't know all these words I just used, right, it means get a lawyer and get an accountant.
100%. And then there's liability,
Right.
as well as really
Yeah.
the two things: taxation, liability.
Correct.
The liability gets to the shareholders. Does it get to the LLC members? That's sort of capped, and that's the reason we form a
Correct.
company versus just being a sole proprietor.
Right.
So I think fundamentally what you said is true. Call a lawyer, call an accountant,
Yeah.
figure out what's best for the long-term plans of your company,
Correct.
and we'll take it from there.
Perfect. Well, if someone wants to figure out how to start their business and form their entity and they want to work with you, how can they reach you?
Thanks for asking. The best way to find us is on the web, Miller Haga. That's Miller, Haga, Haga.com, or I'm jmiller at millerhaga.com.
Great. Thank you, Janice, for joining me.
My pleasure. Thanks, Jen.
And thank you for joining us on this episode of Conversations with My Real Friends. We love having you.